Hello, everyone. I'm Kyle Bossman. This is our Box Peak episode 4 live Q&A. We're on Twitch. We just watched episode 4 for the first time live. What we're going to do, I'm going to give you a little bit of prepared presentation, really short this week, and then I'm going to take all of your questions from chat over the course of the next hour or so. Yeah, let me show you what I have prepared. Again, it's not too much this week. Let me see if that is correct. We'll go to here first. There we go. And then that. Okay, cool. So the first thing I want to show you is, so Amanda, I was in the room for the recording process with Amanda for most of the show. But what happens is if I want a pickup line, which is, a line that I'm feeling the episode, I'm feeling it out, I want extra lines or replacement lines, I just write an email to Amanda explaining like the kind of line it should be and the purpose of it and things like that. And so I want to show you how hard it can be sometimes to pick a line because Amanda sends so many really good takes. So here we go.
Jordy, wait. The whole point of allowance is to spend it on stuff that will make you a better box peeker. Check out that store.
Box Peak. Box Peak. Box Peak. Cookbook. Botiqua. Box Peak. Box Peak.
That's my favorite one. The last of that one at the end where he just goes, Wanted to use that one, but the way it's scripted is that he gets interrupted. Boutique, come on. So yeah, Amanda she just sends you, like really, really good stuff. And so there's lots to pick from, obviously. I just love that. That's typical. But yeah, I wanted to show you that part of the process. I think the next thing I wanted to show is another. Oh no! So I want this shot. This shot took so long. I had to look at a lot of references for this, where you just Google grocery store aisle. But the reason I wanted to show this to you is this man in the lower left-hand corner. This is an aunt of mine a long time ago told me that basically I was drawing a Ninja Turtles thing, right? And I was drawing a big shredder and super shredder, obviously. And I messed it up and I like crossed it out. And I said, all right, give me another piece of paper. I'm done with this one. And she said, no. Work with your pieces. Don't just throw away mistakes. And so I turned that shredder into a dumpster, and then it turned into a cool Ninja Turtles drawing. That's what happened here. So this guy in the lower left-hand corner was not here when I originally conceptualized this piece. You'll see why quickly. So I got a little dyslexic and I wrote chill real. And I do all this in pen. And so like I couldn't undo it. And so I'm like, what? Oh, I don't want to redo this whole drawing. This drawing takes so long. And so I just put a little guy in the lower left-hand corner to cover it up. And I ended up liking this guy. Look how cool he looks. Like, to me, he's clearly at least in chocolate tier if he's searching for box mods. He takes this life very seriously. So yeah, I like that guy a lot. He's our little mistake boy.
I've been thinking. The Box Peak organization.
Okay, next thing. I wanted to show you another part of the process. And so this is what I didn't do episode 1, that obviously I do a lot in current production, is do the audio edit first. Like the audio edit of episode 6 is done at this point. turn that into like a little MP3 that I play off my phone while I'm puppeteering the puppets. However, I'll show you that it works okay in the wides when you want to like get a general feel for how the characters are going to animate. But when I do close-ups, I don't even play it anymore. Because I want to, I guess, convey the emotion better than sticking to the recording and trying to follow the recording like a dancer watching the moves next to you. You know what I mean? You're at a dance recital and you're like, okay, what do we do next? So for me, it's more natural to recite the lines, and then if the timing is off, I just fix it within Premiere using shoot, I forget what it's called even. It's like this time wedge tool lets you stretch and shrink things to match things up. Okay, so what you'll hear first is the wide shot, and then you'll hear the close-up.
I've been thinking, the Box Peak organization sometimes acts like they're alone, you know? But they don't own Box Peak. We do. We all. My Box Peak adventure does not end here. I will find a way. You can't have my box. Okay, nice meeting you.
We do. We all do. My Box Peak adventure is far from over. I will find a way. You can't have my box. Oh.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's all I had prepped for today. What I did bring, I brought basically my entire boxes. I brought all the drawings and all the backgrounds. So if in your Q&A questions you want to just ask to see a particular thing, let me know. I brought the script even if you want to hear about this particular script thing. I will say that Olio Vola's box has been disassembled, so it's not an impressive prop anymore. In fact, it was never an impressive prop. It was always extremely ugly, and I actually have behind-the-scenes footage of it that I won't show you. I don't want to ruin the magic that much. That thing is a twist of tape and wire to actually get that thing to work. Let me show you the 2 rules before we start the Q&A. Rule 1. Why? Okay. All right. It's just big. It's just a big rule 1. Sometimes OBS likes to play with you. Sometimes OBS just likes to play around. Rule 1, keep it about Box Peak. Oh, you know what? I think it's because we're here. So let's go here, and then let's go there, and then rule 1. There we go, normal size. Keep it about Box Peak. Don't ask about anything outside of Box Peak. Rule number 2, don't ask about future episodes. Don't ask about aspects of the world that haven't been depicted yet, because they might just appear in future episodes. Cool. That's pretty much it. I saw immediately when I said, let me know if you want to see any drawings. I saw boat dogs many times, so let me see if I can pull those out. I hate to tell you, they are in the box of things that will not come back. I got one, actually. That was pretty fast. There we go, and I got number 2. Great. Great. Let me go back to cam then, and let me turn off my light. Rule number 1, keep it about Box Peak. Okay, so this is Corbin with boat dogs. And this is, well, I mean, they're both with boat dogs. So this is Corbin, oh, she left. And this is, oh, okay, I got your boat dogs. Funny thing about Corbin with boat dogs, he is actually Corbin with 2 arms. Mid-shoot, I cut off his arms and then taped the boat dogs to it, merely to be economical with a number of drawings. I said, you know what? It would be simpler just to draw 2 boat dogs and 2 arms than it would be to draw a whole new Corbin. So you'll notice he has the exact same expression as, oh, absolutely. And then, yeah, they're just, I mean, this is one of my favorite drawings. This drawing was like, oh man, this is so funny. Especially disappointed Corbin with the droopy boat dogs. And then, yeah, just to be clear, they are stuffed animals. They are not actual dogs. Yeah. Joke executed. Can we get a boat dog shirt? Actually, yeah. A lot of people ask for shirts, and like what I like about the one that we made and what Noah requested was that there's shirts that would exist within the universe. I could conceive of Boat Dogs like, shirts existing within the Box Peak universe. Okay, so yeah, send your questions this way. At Easy Allies in chat is the easiest way for me to see to highlight your question, and so that I can check that out. When you win Box Peak matches, sorry, this comes from Alexander. When you win a Box Peak match, you subtract points from your opponent. So for some players to have tens of thousands, many others have negative score. So why is CD's 53 points so bad? Presumably, you don't play the higher level people for your points. So it'd be really hard to get negative 10,000 without losing 100 in a row, right? Generally, the idea of a competitive scene is to keep people winning and keep half people losing, right? So considering the type of people CD would have been playing against, it makes sense. How'd you make the costume for Vola? That was just some good drawings. What sucks is I was hoping I had like some concept art for everybody. I didn't for him. I guess I just nailed it on the first try. Okay, we have tricky version of him. I wonder if I have... I think I put like the beard and thing actually in the props bag. Yeah, I don't have the other stuff. So basically, it was kind of easy because... it was easy to do because everyone has the same size head. And so basically when I drew the mask, I just, I knew where the eyes and the mouth would be approximately. I wasn't totally happy with where the fake beard and wig lined up perfectly. But that shot is so funny to me when there's like the little wiggly hand going, duh, 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 duh. That's that shot makes the whole episode to me. Just kind of lined up correctly, just kind of perfectly lined up. In a funny way, right? Like it wasn't perfect, but it was like close enough. Like hoping the nose lines up. It was not. I was very. It was not measured, right? It was an estimate of where things would appear. I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants with a lot of this stuff. And then just a lot of it works out. No reshoots for this episode. I went to look for if there was anything that I had to reshoot or anything. No, this episode went pretty smooth, I guess. With the exception of creating the light box. That thing took forever. And I see why I shot that part first now. Normally, I do the hardest shot first. And when I was looking back through my shot order, the hardest scene was like last, and I was like, what? Why did I do? It was the desk. It was Don's desk with a little cash register. I was like, why did I shoot this last? And it was because that light box was so hard to do. What made you decide on hand drawing instead of digital? Wouldn't that have been more efficient? This is from Drop Props. I'm better at hand drawing. Basically, if it was digital drawings, it'd have to be a better show. And so, yeah, it'd be more efficient, but you would forgive the quality a little less, right? If you saw these, excuse me, coffee burps, as digital drawings, it'd be like a way worse show. And so it kind of has charm in that it's my drawings and that you can see my mistake lines. Because it's basically, this is my maximum skill level, asking for another ally because it's important. Thoughts on shirts for children. We want ones to match with his kids since he loves Boxpeak. Sly Sonji asks that. It's still kind of about Boxpeak. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but yeah, we'll be restocking sometime. I don't remember if I was allowed to say that. Fangamer will be restocking the shirt. I bet XS would fit a child. I don't know if they do child sizes typically, but I can ask about that for sure. Did you purposefully not say how many points Jordy won? Asks East Dragon. Yeah, I saw a lot of people in chat really curious about that. And so, to me, narratively, I kind of thought it wasn't important anymore and that kind of thing. Like, to end every scene with, like, you get this many points. You get this many points. Match over. You know what I mean? To me, like at some point in a series, you have to like wrap those things up. I did at one point. Maybe we'll talk about that after episode 10, work out how many points he has at the beginning and end of every episode. So there is some point value that I attributed to this battle. But yeah, I didn't think it mattered in the episode because basically I needed that it pays to look good Boxito mask and then to be continued. You know what I mean? It didn't seem worth it to me to interrupt that flow of that to deal with the nitty-gritty. But then, yeah, maybe I can publish the point values to you, the people who care, because I totally get caring about that. From Lunacious, what's your process for writing the cold opens? They get better every week. Yeah, this was a fun cold open for me. This is like, when I said episode 3, we just needed to get everything out of the way. To me, episode 4 is like the first normal episode, right? The entire gang's together. Kizomi got to bed somehow. And it's basically like a setup for, okay, this is what we're going to be doing in this episode. You get it, right? Can we go shopping today? Sure. And then so episode 4, money problems. And so basically at this point, because we've established a pattern of what a Box Peak episode is, you get it. You get it straight from the title. Oh, we're about to see like this kind of episode. And so the cold opens, it's basically establishing what this episode is going to be about, right? And they kind of had been so far. What was the cold open episode 3? Oh, it was this, my friend Kizomi. Let's go to the park today. Yeah, same kind of thing. And so, right, they serve a narrative purpose, but, you know, I like to stack them full of jokes, right? I love doing cold opens. And yeah, you know, the theme song with a box lends itself well to cold opens. One thing I did is I looked at, you ask a lot about references. I looked at the cold opens for Barry, because Barry's got a great theme song, you know what I mean? I looked at how many times it smash cut to that and how many times it led in, and it does both. And so then I decided it's okay to do both for Box Peak. And so in this one, with yes, no, at the same time, they are interrupted this time with box. You don't get the box, you know what I mean? As opposed to other episodes where like you see CD's face scowling during the so yeah, you can do both, which is fun. And so yeah, I liked being able to do that. Is the light mod not considered cheating? And if not, why? That's a box mod. You can just go buy that and install it on your box if you're chocolate tier. Aliovola is chocolate tier. So yeah, that's not cheating. Box mods are not cheating. The episode 4 opens a whole new realm of Box Peak that I've been trying to keep a secret. Whenever anyone asks like, hey, where's this gonna go? How can you possibly do more with this series, with the game of Box Peak? It's like, there's box mods, babies. Box mods incoming. And so yeah, you know, I get to go nuts with actual box mods on boxes. And so again, when people are like, hey, let's do Box Peak in real life, like, how are you gonna do box mods in real life? We'll see. Backdoor Shady Dealer, when you draw, do you find yourself mimicking the faces of the characters you're drawing? Yes. That's a habit I've had for a long time. Since I was like 3rd or 4th grade, I remember somebody making fun of me at the after school program. Lightly, not mockingly, just being like, dude, you're making that face. You're sticking out your tongue or something like that. I think that's a natural drawing reaction when you're drawing a thing, for sure. Some of the expressions I'm not too happy with, like this one from Olio. His lips look bad, right? But I mean, they still convey the, right? They convey the expression that I was going for. They look bad, but I'm you know what he's feeling. Why do you keep picking Victor? What do you mean? That Victor is a character. Did you have to set up a box that shined a light in the scene? So what's crazy is the box that has the light in it is actually the same box that he pops in and out of. And so I had to do mods to him and mods to the box mid-shoot, and that is why that was the first thing. I can show you the light. This is another frustrating thing. I mean, maybe I can find it in the script even. what I wrote down for this box mod, because it's the kind of thing where I'm like, yeah, and then there's just a giant bright light that shoots out of his box. You know what I mean? Just like write that in a script, and I'm like, I'll figure it out later. And then when you're trying to actually figure it out, it's like, what, Kyle? Like, what do I do? This will be a common theme amongst all Box Peak episodes. Oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of rare. I didn't find a lot of concept art, but I have basically, will this work? Can you kind of see that? Let me bring it back a little more. Yeah, you can kind of see that. You can kind of see a little depiction of what I think Geordi's eyes would look like when they're getting shine upon, when they're getting light blasted into them. Okay. So all that I wrote is, so interior, Geordi's box. Box mods, huh? Well, I guess I should peek just to see what I'm dealing with. Exterior, battle scene. Geordi peeks, but is blinded by light. Good stuff, Kyle. Geordi peeks, but is blinded by light. And so that entire thing of like, that all I had to just like, that was all past Kyle counting on future Kyle figuring it out, and I did. This was the flashlight I used, this guy right here. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't buy this, I just had it, and it just happened to be like the right size and shape for a box in Box Peak. The one mod I did make to this box mods is I have this black line around it. This thing was all gray. I went in with a marker and made that black line around it, so it was like cooler inside of oh, my eye. Sorry, chat. Do you have sunglasses? And so yeah, I had to do that. Sorry, Profound Badness. I like that name. Is the game Box Peak itself intentionally absurd? Did you anticipate that people would actually get into the idea of the game? Right, Profound Badness. You're nailing it. It is intentionally absurd. I did not anticipate people getting into the game so much, right? Like it's meant to be like, oh, this, nobody would want to play this game, right? That's kind of like what the entire show is, right? It's kind of like everyone in this world is taking this very silly game very seriously, and that's the whole concept. And so yeah, it is shocking to me that people would want to play this game. But it's fun. I get it. You know what I mean? It's because the characters like it so much, and it's because you hear the phrase, you can put anything in your box that fits in your box. It lights up your imagination, right? I get it. I absolutely get it. I'm not disappointed that people are into it. How'd you make the title cards? I can show that to you. I'll show that to you. I'll show that to you. I'll show that to you. Let me see if I can. I'll be right back, everybody. Actually, you know what? I'll re-up my coffee over there. Quick break. Quick break. Quick break, quick break, quick break, quick break, quick break, quick break. Okay. All right, I'm back. Okay, sorry. I was going to show you this next week because this was an essential tool for Box Peak episode 5. But I mean, it's not revealing anything. I mean, this is like, basically this allows me to set up a box and then puppeteer the character from beneath it. This thing is so clutch. But this is also what I used. He's got Dusty, baby. For the episode titles. So basically you see here, for money problems, because I use the same word episode on every episode. And so I put that on the front of this thing. And then there was like this cool, like shiny thing that, like weird paper you can get it at Michael's. And then basically you just go like this. Oh, like this. And so it creates a nice rotation because the back moves in the opposite direction of the front. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with how it looks, because my camera doesn't capture the light through the plastic well. Like if I did it with my cell phone, I almost wish I did. The cell phone is actually better at capturing the light. It's one of the problems of the vanilla A7, the basic A7, is that it's not too good at picking up low light. And so yeah, then I saw that in there. Why is this episode 60 FPS? You all liked it last week. You said like the episode looked better, so I used the same export settings as last week. Basically, what I had been doing is within Premiere using YouTube 1080p 60, and that's what it's called. It's like the export setting. And then this last week I did match settings high bitrate, and everyone's like, show looks good now, and I'm like, okay, I'll just keep doing that then. I'm not a pro, I don't know what export settings are. And so like if you all like it, I just do it. Do you think about casting while designing characters or afterwards? Way after. This character, I had no idea what he would look like. He was not designed until I sat down to draw him, right? And so, you know, Brad just has... I mean, let's see how he's described. Let's see how he's described in the episode. I'm actually curious about this. Okay, Olio, a dirty guy in dingy clothes, has his arm raised. So that's all Brad had to go off of. And you know what's crazy? The script has no mention of him ripping off the costume. It doesn't. It has no mention of that. Chocolate tier. CD, that means he gets box mods. Oh, does that surprise you? Competitors, summon your boxes. And then they're just, the match just happens. So, like, yeah, I guess to communicate it better is why I had him rip off a costume. Basically, for you to get... he's a rich man hiding in a dirty man's clothes. And so, yeah, I think, like, obviously it works. Obviously, it's not just a fun visual gag, but it communicates that idea a little better. Added in the line where Geordi goes, that was a mean trick. Just to, again, triple down on the idea of why he was wearing that costume. Yeah, that's funny. I guess I just add a lot between script and episode. Did all of Geordi's purchases teleport to the basement fortress? Yeah, I guess that can be presumed, because he's not carrying the bags at the end of the episode, but I don't know, they could be on the ground. But yes, yeah, I guess they had to be, because they weren't in his arms, right? You see, basically anything that wasn't in his arms is going back to the basement fortress. So yeah, they are for sure. Is Victor kind of a twist on if Ash Ketchum was forced to grow up and then became bad? Seems like the My Box Peak adventure is not over. It's like a man who grew up with being good and can't let go. Not Ash Ketchum in particular. Again, I just try to think of like world first and then how characters would react to it. And so I guess I just like, if you get into the psychology of an adult who's playing Box Peak, you got to think of why. First of all, why are you still playing Box Peak? And yeah, I love this idea of this man who he will not give up on his Box Peak adventure deep into his adulthood. I love it. You know what I mean? Despite being on a real losing streak. If Jordan hadn't looked away, had he been blinded, would there still be a way to play Box Peak if you had gone blind? So yeah, this is never explicitly stated in the rules. Basically, this is weird. It's not a peak until your eye level, right? So you can't get points for a complete peak if you're just poking your forehead up. However, it is a counter peak at the moment of forehead. And so really there's not a lot of time in between. But it's a weird rule. Basically, it wasn't a counter peak until Geordi's eyes met. Or I guess it's not a counter peak until the eyes are above box line either. I guess that's how that has to work. Yeah. It's never explicitly stated, and I'm still trying to figure out how exactly that would work. It never becomes an issue. Could a blind person play Box Peak? I guess so. I guess you just got to get your eye level above it. But you'd have so many advantages, right? I don't know. We'll say that the world of Box Peak has enough advanced medicine to heal such an issue. Let's just say that. How'd you design that awful mannequin outfit? You got to go 2 steps extreme, right? You have to think like, what would be wild in a wild world? What would be advanced in this weird, goofy, neon color, weird world of Let's Go Island? And so you just go 2 steps above that. If you are eye level but your eyes are closed, would it be considered a peak? No. So yeah, we got to figure out rules. We got to really establish those rules. That would not be a peak. That's why Geordi's eyes are a little bit open when he's like, my eyes. How long can his air jar last? Can you use it more than once? Yes, but it would lower its quality. Like a candle, right? You can keep it open as long as you want, right? Was the spacing in Box Peak Boutique intentional or a good old case of bad kerning? Either way, I had a goofy chuckle at it. I guess it was a case of bad kerning. Why does the ticket taker look so skeevy at the boat fair? He's just bored. That ticket taker's just bored. I'm trying to make it clear that the boat fair is not that fun. The 2 people on the ride, they're bored. There's like a brown tent. And so, yeah, I try to make it look like, all right, this is the best they got. And what was funny is, like, originally the Fairboat Boat Fair was, at a bay, at a dock. But I thought it'd be funnier just to put it in a field, and it totally is. Does CD's shirt in the opening stand for anything? Oh yeah, Let's Go Island, LI, for sure. Any inspiration from Mike Judge characters? Drum Cutter, I'll say none directly. What I like about Mike Judge characters, and I guess I'm only referring to King of the Hill. I love King of the Hill because it's not just dumb Texan jokes. You know what I mean? It's not like, aren't people from Texas dumb? It's like compassionate. That show loves those characters. And while there are like jokes about Texas, right? You still love everybody on that show. They're still real people. And I really, really like King of the Hill. Was it hard to draw Kozomi's hair in the shot where she's in bed at the start of the episode? She leans forward, and I really like how her hair looks like that. That was one of the easier ones. I don't know why. It's really hard to draw Kozomi's bangs. I get it messed up because basically eyes should be in the middle of the head for almost all characters they are, but then you have to add a layer of hair on top of it for most people, and then bring that layer of hair down to where the eyes would be. I mess it up most times. There are some drawings that I mess up for Kozomi a lot, but there's a few that I've just thrown away. I finish them, pen them, color them, put them in front of the camera, and I'm like, that sucks, and throw it away. I'm sorry, Chad, it looks like, I mean, this is live. Did Stan Lee, is it truly announced that Stan Lee has died? Is that a real thing, chat? Yes, that is truly sad. Reported by TMZ. Why is it gotta be TMZ? I guess they just get on those scoops. I just looked it up and see nothing. Well, let's hold off for a second then, maybe? Let's hold off for a second. Where does CD sleep? He also sleeps on the floor. So CD and Geordi are sleeping on the floor while Kozomi gets to bed. Green Bendy asks, was your first inspiration for Box Peak the Dino Crisis Dinorama group stream? Seems like at the end, seems like at least the medium was figured out there. Yeah. Great question, because I definitely thought of it, and man, can somebody pull up an image? It would take me too long to find what that looked like. I think we do even the same, like, black and white face thing. You know what I mean? I think I didn't color in any skin color for that. It's probably extremely similar. Yeah, and basically setting up a scene. I think it gave me confidence in the idea. The idea of making a show about paper puppets really did not occur to me until I went home and saw my old paper puppets from kindergarten. Kyle, would you expand the Box Peak universe through Fiasconauts or a one-off D&D campaign? No. I like to control the universe too much. I can't let it fly off like that, you know? Because in D&D, you know what I mean? Like, anybody can do anything, especially Fiasconauts. And then suddenly that's canon? Absolutely not. Did the marketing team of the Milkshake Company rebrand in Fairboat Island because the brand is too closely associated with Box Peak? It's a good lore question. And I guess so. I guess, like... Yeah. Yeah, I think you found something there that is likely true, right? Like, people from Fairboat, just like President Hamler, I think they have a desire for Box Peak, but the right thing to do is to be mad at Box Peak. President Clark's husband died. And so I think that, you know what I mean, they changed their name to Mama Thirstbees so you're right, they wouldn't have that association, that people wouldn't look at Shoogies and be like, oh, that's the Box Peak restaurant. Absolutely. I think you nailed it. I think you're right. Didn't think about that all the way through, but you're correct. You are correct. Can the Box Peak Porter glow in different colors, or is it just blue and red? Don't ask about future episodes. What's funny though, I mean, again, looking at the script, Jordy and CD sleep on the floor. Good noise beeping. Jordy, wake up, wake up. So the script doesn't have Box Porter lights up and blinks. It just says good noise beeping. And it definitely was not a song that goes, allowance. There was simply going to be a good noise beeping off. And yeah, I guess as I developed the episode, I decided on those things. I think it's a nice visual element to have it glowing red. And so when I say don't ask about future episodes, I like how it looks. And so the door is wide open for that Box Porter button to do whatever I want it to do. As the episode's mandate, right? As like we need to communicate things. Heck yeah. Can you destroy the box since there is a hole in this new box? Asks Sanjay. Sanjay, maybe? No. It's an indestructible plastic called double plastic. Box mods are this whole other element. And so it's not destroyed. The box is not destroyed. There's simply a box mod implemented into the box. There's no way you could drill a hole in your box. Tars Fomars, was the allowance ring a first take? In my dreams. You know what I mean? A 2-second loop like that takes me hours. Maybe not hours, but it takes me a long time to like, okay, I like this drum beat. Okay, I like how I'm saying allowance. I like the vocal effect that I'm putting on my performance of allowance. And it's actually 2 different takes. It's like, allowance, allowance. They're barely different. No, that kind of thing is another thing that just takes me forever, but it's something that I like working on, especially when episodes get into a pattern of like, I need something new to work on for this week's episode. And so, absolutely. Was Too Quiet, his name is Too Quiet Togen, his scent gimmick inspired by Gary Oak's smell you later catchphrase? No. Smell came first, honestly. Were the sunglasses inspired by Squirtle Squad? No. I intentionally went for glasses that did not look like those sunglasses. Definitely inspired by like maybe Dragon Ball is the earliest reference to it. For some reason, anytime there's a bright light in anime, the way to defeat it is sunglasses. Just a rule of animation. What is the name of the mall? Cheddar Mall. Are people buried in their box after death? No. since all people come in different sizes, does the box size the same for all, or will it change size per person? Same size for everybody. Just got to find a way to fit in that box. What happens if someone peeks looking the other way so the back of their head is toward the opponent's box? Wouldn't count. You know that wouldn't count. Don't be cute. Also, I feel like that's asking about future episodes, but it's not, because I'm not going to do that. Does Mistake Boy have an actual name? I'll tell you what, I'll come back to you next week with a name for Mistake Boy. Maybe. Right? Like now that guy's canon. He's definitely coming back, isn't he? How do you format your scripts? Do you use a page per minute format or something else? I use Final Draft. Final Draft is what I used in college. Oh, sorry, it's way too far away. It's basically TV formatting, right? Which is typically about a page per minute. It's also what I used when I was writing sketches for live theater, right? Just love that kind of formatting. It's really simple. It is, scene headers, character names, dialogue, and directions and parentheticals. Basically, to me, the bare minimum of what you need, maybe a little too bare minimum in some cases, where I'm just like, he's blinded by a bright light. But there are definitely free programs. I think Final Draft is a little expensive, but for me, when I'm like, I'm going to be using this program for the rest of my life, it was worth the cost. But yeah, I love it. It's way simple. You know what I mean? It's just hitting tab a lot. Highly recommend looking into it and checking out the formatting. It is so simple. It is easier than writing a book. And so yeah, I really dig it. And generally, yeah, every episode so far has been around. I cut out a lot of stuff. I absolutely cut out a lot of stuff. But I mean, this week's episode's 10 minutes. Script is 12 pages. And that's generally where we've been. I've been like a minute or two shorter than a page per minute. But again, I cut out a lot. Try to get all the episodes condensed, except just like I said before, you try to make a scene as short as it could possibly be. Silent Sheldon, what is the writing process like? Did you work on one episode at a time or jump around? Did you start on rewrites immediately, or did you set the first drafts aside a bit to read them with fresh eyes later? Did you gather feedback? What's the timetable for the whole process? Man, that timetable is disgusting. Sorry, did I say Final Cut? I did mean Final Draft. Final Draft is, to me, the best software for writing a script. Okay, let's do each of these questions. What's a writing process like? Miserable. Did you work on one episode at a time or jump around? Yeah, that's a really good question. So I had the outline, right? I don't like to do real outlines where it's like beat by beat, figure out how each episode goes. Even when I started learning sketches, even when I started, taking Sketch 101, it's like, okay, do an outline for your sketch. Like, what? For a 5-minute sketch, you want to make me do an outline? It's like, that's not even going to be funny. It's like, yeah, but you just got to figure out your beats. And it helps at first. It's a good learning method. I hate writing out outlines because it's way easier for me to figure out how a scene goes, how dialogue will bounce off of itself, actually writing out an episode. And so writing process, yeah, I did outlines for, this is the episode where there's a light beambox mod, right? Like I knew that coming in. I knew there'd be this fair boat fair scene, but I didn't know the dialogue or how it'd be exchanged or how it ends or anything like that until you really start typing it out. And so yeah, a lot of the episodes, I'd say when we sat down with Jones and Amanda to do our first ever read through, it was funny. I mean, the idea was going to be, all right, let's just read through the first 5 episodes. And we did. And it was really fun. And it was like, well, do you have more? And I'm like, yeah, I have the back 5 if you want to do that. And then Jones and Amanda emphatically said, yes, let's read those. I'm like, okay, cool. All right. And then we had to print those out. What they read at that time, and shoot, Amanda might know better than I do, months and months and months ago. It was basically a year ago, probably. I think it's when we were, maybe even summer of last year, when we first did the first read-throughs. Well, that can't be right. Yeah, I think it was summer of last year. Maybe Amanda's in chat correcting me there. It was at least a year. Okay, so it was a year ago. That script is basically 70% the script that is the final script, right? Maybe 80. That was pretty finalized. But the rewrites on that I spent many more months on. You get the notes back. Those two gave great feedback on characters and what's clearly communicated. More than anything, I want to know how people feel at the end of an episode. You know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think her plan is? Who do you think this character is? Things like that. You know what I mean? I'm curious. I'm always thinking about what you're thinking, right? I'm always thinking about what you think this is going to be, trying to play with your expectations, but also set up your expectations, make sure that we're all on the same page. So yeah, that kind of thing is super helpful for that. But then, yeah, some things change dramatically. Again, a lot of things change even in the development of the episode after all the voice acting is finished, and you just put it together and listen to it, and you're like, oh, this could be funnier. I could punch this up, or this needs to be changed completely. I'm sorry, I forgot like the rest of your question. I talked a lot about the writing process there. I totally bounced around a lot, but I wrote the episodes chronologically. You write an episode as much as you can, and then you're like, this sucks, but I need to move on to the next one, right? And so you move on to the next one, and then that one kind of sucks, but then like you're like, I gotta write 10 episodes. And so it's not like I wrote episode 10 first. I definitely wrote the episodes in order, but absolutely hopped around a lot. You write the things you're most excited about first, and then deal with the things you're least excited about later. Yeah, it's been, the writing process was super fun. It's like mostly over, but again, you know, the writing is never over because you're always rewriting. I will say, so far, I said this last time, episode 6, no pickups. I'm pretty happy with the flow and communication of episode 6. But yeah, in the store, there's an ad for a stopwatch. Is that for referees or box peekers? Isn't that cheating? Why would that be cheating? You put anything in your box that fits in your box. And so, you just retreated from a peek. Like, you got to know what 6 seconds is. Obviously, you can count it off on your head, but it'd be nice to have a stopwatch. You got to think these things through. Has community feedback made you change anything for these released episodes? Not so far. Not so far. I mean, community feedback's just been pretty positive. You know, and so far no changes. Maybe the back 5 will have changes, right? Like there's going to be some check duff thing somewhere. Mistake Man will be appearing all over the place. Don't count on those things, by the way. I don't like doing cheap stuff like that. Generally, no. Generally, I mean, every Sunday I spend another like 2 or 3 hours like tinkering with stupid stuff. It's stupid. I should just post the episodes as they are. But you know, I like to Lucas it up a little bit. And sometimes it just leads to more mistakes, like fixing bugs in a video game. But you know, it's hard for me to let go of an episode. So going back to the that was all Brad had to go on. So Brad came up with a voice without any direction from you? No. We had direction for sure. I was there. But what's funny is, Brad definitely changed, like, me, Aliovola. And I'm like, okay, so that's how this guy talks. But then when Brad is recording the dialogue in the box, he's like, no one could peek at my box for 4 seconds, let alone 2. And he like puts, you know, that emphasis on it. And so, no, that was absolutely Brad's call to like make him, when he's personally talking, when he's announcing his name. Oh, does that surprise? He does like 3 different voices. First it's, oh, thank you, as just like trying to trick people. Me, Aliovola, when he's trying to be a tough guy. And then, let alone 2, when he's like inside his box or having this personal scene at the end of the episode. That was all Brad. How many marbles for the sunglasses? Less than 20. do I have a dedicated Box Peak set in your apartment, or do you just pull out and put away all the stuff for filming? Basically, my dining room table corner is a disgusting mess. It's where I draw and cut and shoot Box Peak. And so, yeah, I guess I have a stage for sure that belongs to Box Peak. It's disgusting. But yeah. That won't be cleaned until Box Peak is done, for sure. Kozomi is larger than Jordy and CD. Is she older? About how old is the cast? Yeah, never explained, and I will in dialogue coming forward, but it's not like a spoiler. Jordy and CD, 12 years old. Kozomi is 14 years old. Do any of the allies give plot story ideas which you ended up incorporating into Box Peak? Yes. Yeah, I can't think of particulars right now. It would really just be Jones and Amanda. Amanda had a lot of good ideas, and I can't remember which were hers, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Amanda. You know what? Save that question, because I can just announce this now. Next Monday morning, I'm going to be premiering at Jones's place. Amanda's going to be on the Q&A, co-hosting, which I'm really, really excited about. So yeah, you know, it's basically going to be, you know, season 1 finale. It's going to be me and Amanda, maybe Jones is in. I haven't asked Jones actually. And so yeah, if you have any questions for Amanda about that kind of thing, she'll be here. I'll be there next Monday, so that'll be cool. Special finale episode. Let Sophie be there? Yeah, Sophie can be there. We'll get her a little sailor's hat. Is Kozomi a natural purple? Yes. The people with anime colored hair, they don't color their hair. It's just an anime thing that I like a lot. Do video games exist in this world? I don't believe so, but who knows? I don't think they do. I don't think video games exist in the Pokemon world, you know what I mean? You guys got to be consistent with the rules of other things. I can't come up with a question about this subject, but I want you to talk about the flashback to CD explaining the rules. Sure, that is not in the script. I realize that the 3 particular rules, well, the first 2, everybody knows you can put anything in your box that fits in your box. The rules about how long you have to peek for, and then the cooldown for a retreat of 6 seconds. I realize those are not clearly communicated, especially because I made a typo, a last-minute typo in episode 1. And so it's basically, I thought probably a viewer would be asking, why doesn't he just go duck immediately? He's getting blinded by light. Why isn't he ducking? And so that's why there's a little flashback of CD going, you have to peek for at least 2 seconds right there. I realize it's cheap, but sometimes you got to be cheap just to clearly communicate, get everybody on the same page with you. No, chat, do not confuse Pokemon the anime with Pokemon the video game. You're insulting yourselves. 3 people, whoa. Oh no, they do indeed exist in Pokemon. You would see it in the school when guys are using virtual fight data. That's not a video game. Have you considered having Jordy's Dino shirt also reacting to a scene? Yes, I did consider it, and no, I think that's cheap. I think that's cheap. That's like, hey, we're in a cartoon right now. There's no reason for anybody's shirts to change expressions unless that's what your show is about, right? Didn't do it. Too cheap. Too cute. Any box mods that hit the cutting room floor? None that we can talk about. None that we can talk about for sure. What is your favorite Box Peak character you've seen so far? Yours is Vola. Yeah, I love that drawing. It's not even in the shot for too long. It's the pose it's the same one. It's the same face that he pulls the mask off of. It's the pose where it's just like the peak ref's going, summon your boxes. I love his look. I love his eyebrows. I love his cheekbones. I love his forehead bones. I really do like how he looks. It's fun. What was the process for developing Kozomi's personality? I think Kozomi plays off of expectations more than leans into tropes, right? I think, well, no, I mean, you get the impression. you see her first like doing this, I think, boom, 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 and then like the yow, and she's like happy in the air. She's not like bubbly, she's not antagonistic, she's just like, to me, you know what I mean, she's just there to be there. It's just like a lot of it's Amanda's performance, right? She's crushing that. It's just like, I don't know, she's not annoying in any way. She's not excitable, but she's into it, and that's what I really like. I think people like that exist in real life, where, you know, they don't always over emote, but they're happy to be there. They're happy to be observing these things. Okay, Holy Angel MX. I'm seeing this comment 5 times. Let's do it. Kyle, in red, blue, and green, the MC has an SNES in his house. Ergo, video games exist in the Pokemon world. The world of Pokemon the video game is not the same as Pokemon the anime. I'm making a series. That's basically televised, right? It's clearly, I'm not making a video game here. I'm making a series. The inspiration is Pokemon the series, not Pokemon the video game. Is Box Peak a video game to you? Come on. Show me an SNES and Pokemon the anime. Show me. Then I'll shut up. Then I will be quiet. Come on. Lots of little... I ran out of questions because chat is full of the little emote of me wagging my finger. How inspired were you by Detective Pikachu and making Box Speak? Extremely. I have some friends at Lionsgate. They gave me early access to a lot of their storyboards and stuff like that. I got to talk to Ryan, you know, we had lunch one time. And so, yeah, a lot of what I've learned from Detective Pikachu and their production has been implemented in Box Peak. Do you tend to stick with a script for episodes, or have you taken many creative liberties? And if so, what are some of your favorite changes from first to current episode? Yeah, we covered a couple already in that, you know, the box mod's cool, you know what I mean? It's mechanical, not in the script. Alio pulling off the mask, not in the script. I'll tell you my favorite one, actually, of this entire episode is this scene used to cut here. In the script it does. Well, let's see if I have anything useful cut. And so your expectation is that, okay, Jordy will just show up with some cool tool. Added in later, oh no, all this stuff is stupid. Not only is that a hilarious line, but it adds the tension. You know what I mean? Jordy doesn't have it figured out, and you are more nervous for him throughout the rest of this scene. And so, yeah, to me, that's like one of my favorite additions. Again, Amanda kills that line. It's a funny line, and also adds to tension. Serves the scene. It's cool. Is CD's pajama shirt the one he wears under his jacket? Nope. All 3 characters have a special sleeping shirt. Not sure if it's special, but, you know, they're wearing new shirts for going to bed. Which I like. I like those kind of details in anything. I felt this episode was the funniest so far. How do you decide on timing? It is so hard, and I work on it a lot. Too much. It's why edits take a long time. Is just tinkering. Sometimes frame by frame. Sometimes, like, would this joke be funnier if I moved this line a frame earlier? It is absurd. As you could probably surmise by what I showed you from the behind the scenes video, Jones, the way he delivered, but they don't own Box Peak. We do. We all do. I spread that out. I spread that out for dramatic effect. So you take a clip and you like spread it out. We do. We all do. You know what I mean? I do that a lot. Most of the time shortening things. When you're reading off a script, you're going to add more time between sentences than an audience likes to hear. So yeah, absolutely make a lot of... Sorry, that was about changes to the script, right? Did I just go off that far? Yeah. But, oh no, it was about timing jokes. Timing jokes is so hard. You don't know what's funny. I don't know if this, like, at 4 a.m. this morning, this episode was not funny anymore. You know what I mean? I was up a little too late last night, and you're just not in, like, you should never do that. It was the wrong thing to do. And basically the funny thing is I changed, 0.5% of the episode over the course of like those finishing hours. But like, what is a significant thing I changed? Oh, that is what I was up late last night doing is, we do. We all do. Like, I added to that, and I like that cut a lot. I like where it's hitting the music. Ian says never edit to music, but I think music can be so effective, especially for a scene like this. And so, yeah, you want to feel the scene out with the thing. Amanda's in chat. I remember when we did the scene in this episode with Denise on the Fairboat Island, and Denise's character really clicked. I think we ended up re-recording earlier stuff after this scene. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, right, we kind of solidified Denise here, where she was kind of just a frustrated business person when we get to see her interact one-on-one with someone from her past, right? You get to reveal a lot of character that way. And so, you know, that's why they knew each other from college, right? If it's just Denise going to the president of Fairboat and they're meeting each other for the first time, the scene doesn't have as much weight. And so, yeah, you're right, Amanda. You nailed that scene. And I like the drama there. Editing that scene, I kind of edited it more like a drama, where a lot of the, I guess I would say, normal scenes, tonally, basically when a person starts speaking, you cut on that edit. And the more dramatic scenes, you do things like you hear somebody start talking and then you cut to them. And even there's like reaction shots. There's a moment where Denise, I think, is talking about, you know, we looked at the ratings and we learned that everyone just likes to cheer for their home island. We actually just cut to President Hamler listening to her. You know what I mean? I don't think you see that any other time in the other episodes. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's more like there's a drama format of editing almost. That, you know, when you're having a dramatic scene, it plays better to adhere to that. Are we to assume that characters get up to hijinks in Box Peak games that we don't see in between episodes? Are we pretty much seeing everything that happens in sequence? So far, at episode 4, each episode has been a new day, which means that Victor fell off the horse fast. Yeah. You're not missing any matches. Obviously, a lot's been happening in Victor's life that you don't see, but you're seeing the most important things in Geordi's life. You always show Geordi's box being summoned. Did you ever consider doing similar scenes for opponents? No. Script says that the boxes lower from the sky and then lift back off when somebody loses. No, I will. That scene took so long to stop motion, took so long to shoot. I will never do that again for any of Geordi's opponents. I will do whatever I can to not have to do anything like that again. I will cut away and then cut back, and there's boxes there. You know what I mean? Enjoy that. Enjoy that sequence. That took a long time. Is the white square on Victor's shoulder a tattoo of his box? Yeah, it's a tattoo of a box, for sure. Did you come up with a currency symbol for marbles? I see the value for the stopwatch blurred in the background. I think it's like an M. I think it's just a fancy M, to be honest with you. There is currently no symbol for marbles. They just say M, like 30M. Lowercase m. The pop of the boxes vanishing is so much better. Yeah, actually, it is way better than just, which is how originally, kind of in a jokey manner, you know what I mean? People lose and yeah, I love the sound effect and the shards of box when they get destroyed. Is CD's shirt in the first scene supposed to be a reference to Adobe Illustrator Premiere? No, just LI for Let's Go Island. And then I just figure out the colors, and what was it, purple and green came out? You never know. You never know until you start putting colored pencils to the paper. Can you make custom box mods, or does the BPO have to approve all mods? They do. The BPO has to approve the mods. Not a question, but it would be amusing if Geordi is the only one in universe to have the summon sequence and everyone else's boxes just pop in. Would not be consistent with the rules. I can't let it go. I cannot let that slide. You have to imagine that when Aliovola slapped his wrist, he was also going like, you have to, I'm sorry, you have to use your imagination for that. Is there any type of shot you would have scripted out that now you feel confident in being able to do so? I mean, episode 1, I like hate. I hate how the backgrounds look. And so it'd be more like in set construction than in shots. You know, I like the corners. This scene has no corners, which I kind of like. You know, you have the curtain in the background that kind of works when you have his close-up. It's supposed to be a big room, and I think, you know, if I had to do the corners of this room, it would look too small. So no, I'm gonna say, obviously, implement stuff going forward. There are no like reshoots that I would do. If you made me shoot all 4 episodes over again, I don't think they would look too different. Does 60 FPS make some things harder to edit? No, the other episodes were 60 FPS. I just had different export settings, which I'm embarrassed about, clearly. No, I mean, blurs are blurs. It is... I think if you shoot at a lower frame rate, you get more blur to edit in between, but I think the illusion still works for most of these things. What happens if 2 competitors peak at the exact same time? I don't believe that's possible. I believe that the peak ref could identify, you know, to a thousandth of a second. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think that would ever happen in real life. You know what I mean? You can't clap your hands at the same time. Is the Box Peak Boutique an affiliate of the Box Peak organization or an unlicensed vendor? I think they're a licensed vendor. I don't think they're... Yeah, I think that if you're selling box mods, you're clearly licensed with the BPO. Do Boat Dogs rival Chegg Duff, or do they exist separately? I mean, Chegg Duff... Let's be honest, Chegg Duff was created as a joke to show that Nulian liked a thing and then was willing to destroy that thing to stay friends with Takia Chill. I wonder if Chegg Duff is on Fairboat Island. But I can say that Boat Dogs don't have a comic strip, right? You know, Boat Dogs are just a thing that only Fairboat Island people like, and they're just stuffed dogs with little sailor hats on them. And so, no, I'm going to say they don't rival each other. I did have to think about that for a long time. It's too late, Kyle. Everyone loves that gross cat. You're right. Is Box Peak summoning supposed to be reminiscent of Sailor Moon? Absolutely. Reminiscent of Sailor Moon. So many transformation sequences, for sure. Where just like the background blows out. You're not where you were because they want to reuse that shot 1,000 times. Have you run into trouble with backgrounds regarding getting scale correct with respect to characters and camera placement? For example, it seems like you don't plan correctly. You could easily cut off much of the background you wanted to include. Camera field of view. Yeah. That happens a lot, actually. Here, I don't mind. I don't mind that you can't see the name of the store. The store is called Appealing. Not too much gets cut off. Scale can be an issue. Biggest problem with scale, I would say, is actually the hotel room, the store in episode 1 that Victor is outside of, and then I'm pretty onto it now. The lesson I learned is that the background should never be larger than scale, and in those 2 cases it is. And so basically, you just line up your characters, you know, you trace their heads, you know how big a character is, and then you make the background at least the same size as them. A lot of times I'll make it smaller because it'll be further away. I'd say at this point I kind of have it down. I really like how this shot looks. You know what I mean? You know what that store is for, as you've seen it 2 times at this point, and so you know how far this bench is in relation to that. And you know, I love how out of focus it is. I love the trash can. I like that shot a lot. Not a question, but I really like the addition of box mods. Since it's at a higher tiers, it adds an enthusiast aspect, almost like in street racing, a lot like in Initial D. You have to own box mods at higher tiers. Yeah. You know, I think about Box Peak the show and Box Peak the game, the sport. And yeah, you know what I mean? I did want to complicate it in both ways. I wanted to add a progression to that in both ways. Will you save doing more stop motion effects for other moments? I will only do stop motion when necessary. It was totally necessary for summoning the box. It has not been necessary since. As I said earlier, the script can be very generic sometimes. There might be a case in which I need to do more stop motion. I will try to do everything else before I decide to do stop motion. It just takes too long. Can you play Box Peak at night? That has been confirmed. I think Victor's been playing Box Peak all night at the beginning of episode 3 when he walks in. Like, hey kids, it's early morning, and yeah, he's been playing Box Peak all night. You know, trying to pick up opponents at least. Do peak reps automatically recognize unofficial mods? Of course. Are there gym leader equivalents? I would say, you know, obviously rule number 1, rule number 2, don't ask about future episodes, but no, there aren't. How many points did Jordy earn and win? That's funny, Soulcaster. That was like the first question people asked immediately after the episode ended. And I didn't put in the episode because I thought it would clog it up. But I do think somewhere in my original outlines, I have Jordy's point values at the beginning and end of every episode. And so maybe at our episode 10 talk, we can talk about where those were. Oh, are we over? We're way over. Okay, yep, we made it. We're in over an hour. It is time to wrap up. Amanda's leaving even. So yeah, let's do 2 more questions. Let's do 2 more questions. Would you consider hiding an Easter egg or reference of the show's inspirations like Pokemon somewhere in the world? Great question, Philium. Because my answer is no. So I have references, you know what I mean? I have nods. There's a ton of nods narratively, right? I don't ever want to sacrifice the world itself. I mean, the world has its own specifics, right? It has Shugis, it has magnets are half off. The second you add just like, I don't know, Ultra Balls is the weakest reference, like an Ultra Balls on the shelf, you've toasted your world. And I realize that's just me. I know obviously lots of video games and TV shows and movies do Easter eggs, and they're just nods. They're not meant to toast the world. They're just meant to be a thing. That thing could exist in this world. But yeah, you know, I always want to keep the world so tight and clean and specific that I never like Easter eggs for the sake of it. I never like that kind of thing where it's just like I want people to be excited to see a little nod in here, to sacrifice what that world means, which I know is crazy, but you know, that's like I get to control this entire universe, right? I have complete control over it, and I'm going to use it. It's why there won't be a Fiasco Knots. They could put any reference in there. You know you're doing Fiasco Knots, there's going to be some dumb Ghostbusters reference suddenly in the Box Peak world, and I won't have it. Sorry, I'm skipping a couple of questions because they're about things that aren't in episodes, and obviously like don't ask about future episodes, but also like their expanded universe stuff. Does the stuff that fits inside the box travel with the box? Yes. Give me a meaty one, chat. Give me a meaty one. Last question. Does everyone have the same box appearing animation, or are they person specific? You gotta use your imagination for those. I'm not gonna do those. Are you concerned about mods for higher tiers creating unfair advantage for lower tiers? No, I mean, that's the point. But you're not going to get a lot of points grinding lower level people. Obviously, Aliovola's cool with it. Probably trying to work up a win streak. But no, I mean, that's that world. Did you used to play with boxes as a kid? Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, there's a meaty one. How much longer is this taking than you initially expected? What has taken way more time than you expected? Backgrounds, figuring out the script, technical stuff, etc. Editing. All right. That is a beefy question because this has taken over a year longer than I initially expected. So think about like, by the way, chat, when I die, like, don't hop into people's chat and just say Kyle Bossman is dead. Don't. Don't do that. When I initially pitched this idea, when I started like cutting things out and making the concept video, it was so simple and easy. I truly thought the entirety of Box Peak, 10 episodes, 10 scripts, all the characters, all the backgrounds, all the editing, I thought I could do it in 2 or 3 months. I truly thought that. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess you know what I was thinking? I was thinking about all the work I would do for Final Bossman, even Bossman at Home. And I was like, well, it takes a day to write, a day to shoot, and a day to edit. You know what I mean? Basically, when I was doing it alone, 3 days. So, extrapolate 3 times 10, 30. Done. Times 3, give myself a cushion. It's like, I think that is truly what my thinking was I just want to do bonus bits for Final Bossman, make them 10 minutes long instead of 3, and then turn that into an entire series. And I thought it would be simpler not to have to scan them in to color them. I thought this would take less time to draw them and cut them out. Obviously, writing took forever. And a big part of that is, I guess, not having the deadline, just wanting to do a creative project. And so this is where like depression like battled with it, right? In that it wasn't this show that I have to do weekly. And then the other thing that butted up against it was that it was impossible. But I mean, writing shouldn't have taken as long as it did. Writing took a long time. I think because I wanted to be good, I wanted to figure stuff out, but also, you know, sometimes just impossible to be motivated, impossible to like what you're doing. And so, you know, that writing took, you know, as we just said, over a year, which sucked. But then, yeah, production's taken so long. And I'm definitely, you know, when in January, when I made the opening, you know, and I was like, hey, everybody, here's the opening. Here's the reveal trailer of Box Peak. And that took, you know, it basically took all month to make. I was like feeling confident still that it would take, like I would do 2 episodes a month. You know what I mean? Even at that point, even after I'd started producing this, I know what it takes to shoot. And the reason was, I was willing to put in crazy hours on Box Peak, and that was simply not sustainable. I'm not doing 12-hour days on Box Peak still. I haven't done a 12-hour day in a long time. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? Basically, I'll have a task that I want to do for a day. I want to do the audio edit on this day. I want to finish all the drawings on that day, do all the pen on that day, do all the coloring on that day. And so it's basically, if it takes 4 hours, I'm good. If it takes 8 or 10 hours, I'm good. That kind of thing. And so, yeah, I just watched the episode 3 times since this Q&A began. Oh, it's been playing here. I guess everybody's been watching it 40 times. So yeah, I'm definitely at this point more lenient time-wise. But yeah, it's just, I have no idea how long the back 5 episodes will take. I want to have it done, you know, before E3. That'd be sweet. I don't even know if that's realistic. I don't know. You know, you don't know how your life is going to go. You don't know whether things will pop up and complicate it. You don't know how complicated the episodes will be. Don't talk about future episodes, but man, there's some episodes right now where I'm like, I still think about them. Like, wait, how am I going to shoot that? You know what I mean? You got to worry about the episode you're working on right now. But I'm like, wait, what about that episode? and there's other things you don't even realize until it's recorded and it's time to shoot. You know, I try to do what I can. I try to be honest with you about time frames, right? I don't want you to expect the episode soon. I don't want to disappoint you. And I want to be completely honest, you know, about the time it takes, the time I put into these things. But yeah, to your original question of how things have not gone to my estimations, I would say I was as wrong as I possibly could have been. Man, I think that looks good. You can clearly see a little bit of lines changing, but I really like how that thing pops up. Cool. All right, everybody, we'll keep that as the last question. It wasn't fun. We should do one more fun question. We'll do a quick fun one. Do you long for the day when Box Peak is finished and you're free to move on to other projects? Got to keep it about Box Peak. Is Jordy short for Jordan? Who knows? Kind of like the name Jordy. When will we be able to buy the Labo Box Peak kit? Never. Which character is the biggest diva on set? All right. You know what? You got me ready for a locked and loaded takedown. Because you know how much I hate Looney Tunes. I don't know if you all know. You know what I mean? We might have a larger audience than a normal stream for me. You know how much I hate Looney Tunes. You need to know now. I hate Looney Tunes. I hate that Bugs Bunny is just an actor sometimes. And it's like, okay, so look, he's just an actor. Sometimes he's just playing a character in all these scenes. Then like, what is he right now? Is he acting in this thing right now? What is Bugs Bunny? When I talk about the world, when I talk about keeping a world consistent and how I don't even want Easter eggs, Looney Tunes doesn't care, obviously, because it's wacky, it's slapstick, right? Then I don't care about any of your characters, Bugs Bunny. You don't exist, man. You're a tall bunny. You're a tall, skinny bunny with tall ears who just loves himself. You're squeezing your own butt cheeks all day long, dude. And it's just like, I hate the idea of any of you thinking of these characters existing outside of this world. As if CD is also playing a character named CD in the world of Box Peak. I hate that. Ooh, I hate that so much. And so, to answer your question, there is no set. There are no divas. There's the world of Box Peak, and there's also this thing that I work on in my own apartment, in which case, I am the biggest diva. End of Q&A. Next week will be the season finale. It'll be episode 5. Episode 5 was never intended to be a season finale. I have to warn you about. So it doesn't like ring like a season finale does. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that huge revelation and setup that a season finale would typically have. And so, you know, I'm a little disappointed in that aspect, but I'm excited for you to see the episode. It's a good episode. It's a really good episode. But, you know, I feel like we're going to be leaving on a weird spot mid-season finale. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be hanging off of a weird moment for months and months. But it's going to be an exciting episode. It is going to be an exciting Q&A. Again, because Amanda will be there. I'll be at Jones's studio. Hopefully I'll have more materials. I kept a disappointing amount of concept art. I wonder how much I kept for episode 5. We'll see. And then, yeah, that'll be pretty much it. That'll be it. Is it going to be for longer? I mean, this one, we just did an hour and a half right now? Probably. Let's be honest. That'll probably be a long Q&A. I was thinking, like, Amanda and I just take turns. Like, Amanda takes one, I take one, Amanda takes one, I take one, and obviously we can hop onto each other's stuff. But yeah, I really wanted her to co-host it, as opposed to me still hosting and then, like, her popping in whenever she can. I really want that to be pretty equal. So start thinking of your own Amanda questions, what you'd like to learn from her, and her expertise. You know what I mean? She, as a professional, puts more work into the performances than the rest of us are capable of. You know what I mean? It's not like we're phoning it in. It's just like we don't know. we don't have that. We don't have what she has. And so, yeah, I think she probably has a lot of interesting things to say about the voice acting and performances and figuring out characters and things like that. You know, because she's central. She's super central to the whole thing. Box Peak would be half of what it is without Amanda. So that'll be really cool. Yeah, I don't think I have to tease episode 5 any more than that. I do like it. I like episode 5. I said episode 4 might be my favorite, and then, you know, I don't know, maybe it was the 4 a.m. speaking. I'm like, this one's not my favorite. I think Box Peak just gets better episode by episode, which is typical of most shows, right? You just like the characters more, you get it more, and you get the universe more. And so when things slot into that universe, you're more excited to see them. I think that's just kind of how those things work. Cool. Tuesday, tomorrow, Hitman 2 group stream night. Friday night, we are going to be streaming. I'm going to be streaming a game that the community of the Easy Eyes Patreon is picking. It's tight. Like last night, Sonic Unleashed had a big lead. Today, I checked it this morning. I think like Pokemon Channel was winning, and then something else. Like Goemon was doing really well. We might be streaming Goemon on Friday. So I don't know. I'll lock it in like Wednesday. So we'll see. We'll see what we're streaming first. But of course, if you check out that poll, we're going to be playing all of those games. How do we recommend new games for future polls? In chat. I pick them up in chat. People often tweet me game recommendations. I very rarely favorite them because like there's just too many and I don't want to encourage it, but I read them, and sometimes I'll Google it. If I'm not familiar with that game, I'll Google it and I'll be like, yeah, you know what, I really would like to play that. So yeah, I mean, just say it. You know what I mean? You got a game recommendation? Say it. Is the best way to get one in. None of the options are Tetris Effect. I streamed like 5 hours of Tetris Effect last Friday. Is that Dumb Game Money or Kyle just playing? Just Kyle playing. Just Friday night, chill vibes, end of the week, time to decompress, just playing a chilled out game. Pokemon Channel is currently leading Goemon by 3 votes. That's funny. Pokemon Channel was the troll selection. But I think, you know what? Sometimes I think your community can be a reflection of what you put out. And, you know, sometimes you create a community of trolls. Will I get the platinum for Tetris Effect? It's going to be hard. It's going to take a long time. You got to get to level 100 and you got to do some really crazy stuff. I won't get there soon. It'll be like half a year before I get that platinum. But I'll keep playing. All right. I have seen the Detective Pikachu trailer. Not a lot to say because I think it's a good trailer for a gross looking movie. It's a good trailer for a movie I don't want to see. Of course, rest in peace to Stan Lee. I don't have comments on the spot to acknowledge that. But yeah, obviously a person who made an incredible impact on this entire world. Yeah, I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to wave goodbye. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Again, episode 5 will be next Monday morning. And then it's back to the lab. And then it's off for months. We won't do this again for several months for the back 6 through 10 episodes, which will be honestly so exciting. I can't wait for your live reactions. I love this. I love seeing your reactions live. There was a really funny lull in comments during the scene with President Hamler and Denise where you learned, I guess it was almost around the point where it was like, there are plenty of people old enough to remember the day, forget the old president's name. that the president's husband died inside of his box and had to be or couldn't get out of the basement fortress. There was like nothing. It was like everybody was actually just listening for that moment. Everybody was just in there, just listening, and then they're like, "Oh no, too dark, too dark." President Clark, thank you, chat. You're better at that than I am. Unlonely Tree, thanks for subbing. Thanks to everybody who subbed and resubbed throughout this entire stream. Sorry, I don't call it out. Yeah, that's fun. It's really fun to watch you react live. I love that, chat. Thank you, and thank you for all your questions during these live streams. I'm gonna make a new rule that's like, don't ask about lore that hasn't been communicated in the episode, because then I just have to come up with stuff on the spot. You know, the stuff that I have figured out about the universe is generally in the episodes, right? Generally, everything I have figured out is explicitly stated in the episode, and then the rest of it is just like, no, or yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? We'll make that a rule going forward. Cool. Rule 4 is no check duff. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Gonna mute myself. I'm gonna wave goodbye. And then we can have a robot party.